Thank you all for coming to my thesis defense today. Today I will be talking about why Heated Rivalry Episode 5 is one of the best TV episodes ever, probably. So, disclaimers, which are above the presentation. 1. I made this presentation while high, so I don't remember what I wrote. 2. I'm talking mostly about the story since I know nothing about cinematography, though this show is beautiful. I'm also simply a member of the mass psychosis crowd. I'm just a fan, I'm not really here for the intense literary analysis. I'm just here to have a good time. No script, just vibes. Let's see how much of this I even remember. And also, I am a scientist. So I've only ever defended one thesis in my undergrad, so don't come for me if all of my points are easily arguable and I can't defend them because I won't be taking questions. And if there are questions, I won't be answering them. And just to prove that I'm a scientist, let's take a quick break and talk about how maintaining normal nuclear morphology is essential in protecting your cell's genome. So if we look at the bottom right, you see that oval, that's a nucleus, that's a good shaped nucleus, but you'd probably actually want it to be a little more circular. But just know that good shaped nuclei means you have healthy cells. Anyway, this is besides the point. These are just all my disclaimers. So, what makes good television? Again, I'm just a consumer, so things that I'm looking for good performances. Do I believe that these characters are actually part of this universe? I'm looking for a good storyline, one that I'll think about when I go to bed, or one that I have to explain to a million different people to convince them to watch it. 3 is yappability. Do I have people to yap about this? Do I have things to talk about that are just beyond what's presented in the TV show? And 4 is impact. Is this impacting my life? Is this impacting other people's lives? Is this impacting the universe as a whole? I think a good combination of all of these things is what makes really great television. So, as a critic, what makes good television? I don't know. In my heart, all critics are just consumers. So even if you just want to watch a shitty show, you're your best critic because who cares about anyone else's opinion except yours? Also, I'm a scientist, so don't come for me. So, what specifically makes Heated Rivalry so good? One, obviously, first and foremost, is crazy sex appeal. We've all seen all the sex scenes. We've seen both of their asses. We've seen both of their asses in places that I didn't know asses could be. Both of their eyes, Shane's got bottom eyes. Ilia doesn't have bottom eyes, but he basically does have bottom eyes. It's just for the masses, it's for the straight women, it's for the gay men, it's for the hockey players, it's for anyone who just is a little bit horny. And that's a lot of people these days. 2, very compelling stories. We'll get into this. 3, impressive performances. I believe that both Shane and Ilia are Shane and Ilia in this universe, even though I have not read the books. I believe that their characters are played very well. 4, LGBTQ impact. Being gay is hard nowadays, I guess. And having this type of representation, especially in hockey, where the NHL maybe might not be the most supportive of LGBTQ existence, this is very important for that space to continue growing and to continue to becoming a safer place for gay people. And I already talked about yappability, but this show is so yappable. The memes that I've seen, my Instagram has unfortunately just become Shane and Ilia edits. Am I proud of it? No. But am I going to enjoy it while it lasts? Yes. So these are just some background information to really get ourselves in the right mindset of this thesis defense. So here is my thesis statement. Heated Rivalry Season 1, Episode 5 is one of the greatest pieces of media ever created. Probably. I'm saying probably because I have no evidence to defend this except for my heart, my soul, and my unguided opinions. So to go about this very easily, I'm going to go through the episode in chronological order. The first scene being Shane coming out to Rose. And this has gone right. A lot of coming outs can go wrong. This went right in every conceivable way. What makes this scene so great is Rose's approach to asking Shane if he's gay. It's thoughtful, it's delicate, it's succulent. She doesn't just come out and say, hey, like, when we fuck, it's not that good, and like, when you kiss me, I'm not really feeling that connection, so you might be gay. She just asks a bunch of leading questions to really ease Shane into it and doesn't really pressure him to answer any of them. And this is a really great example of creating a safe space. If you're talking to a gay person or if you think someone's gay, listen, I'm pretty blunt. If I want to know if someone's gay, I'll just ask them, are you gay? But given that, Rose is asking her boyfriend if he's gay, I think she does it very beautifully. It's a very great example of why gay men have so many straight women friends. I just feel like they know how to create that environment that's so welcoming and so safe for them to be themselves. So that's an example of woman best friend number one. Also, the way she says it, I feel like you'd rather be kissing Miles and than kissing her. Honestly, hilarious. She's a comedian. She might have to dabble in a sitcom after she finishes what, X-Men. She's Jennifer Lawrence. Whatever. Another great thing about the scene, Shane's bottom eyes. If we pay attention to the bottom right of the slide, we can see Shane pondering, thinking about how he is just accepting that he is a bottom. He is a gay bottom. And another really important thing is Shane says it's not okay that he's gay. And that fits in the context both of him lying to Rose and him not being able to be gay and play hockey. I feel like that's, even though it's not explicitly said, all that type of double meaning of it's not okay will appear numerous times throughout the episode. And possibly the greatest line of the show, Shane saying that he kind of prefers being the hole rather than the peg. Good for him. Good for him for owning it. Okay, that's that scene. So, the next scene, Svetlana approaches GOAT status. So we already knew Svetlana was the GOAT. She's fucking beautiful. We know that she's the best. But what really elevates her in this scene is, one, she knows ball. Like, she fucks with hockey probably more than Ilia does. Two, even though it's not said in this scene, she definitely knows something's up between Ilia and Shane. She keeps asking him, don't you think Shane is gorgeous and, like, Shane would center you, That's kind of sexual in a way. Shane would be your center, and Ilia's like, no, 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 no. But this is another great example. We'll see another better example later, but that Svetlana is woman best friend number 2 in this episode. Again, always a safe space for Ilia to be himself and for Ilia to be gay. Even though he's not gay, he's bisexual. Svetlana really brings out the bisexuality in Ilia, I think. And again, we'll get into Ilia later, but let's just note that Ilia is so in love here. It's so obvious in the way he lies down in Svetlana's lap and just stares out on the screen and thinks, wow, I'm in love with this man. He never hasn't been. Also, I wonder how many outfits Rose Landry will bring. Svetlana's a goat, but she's also hilarious. Like, she knows. She knows that Ilia's jealous. And that's what best friends are for poking and prodding and being a little annoying, but supportive at the same time. Then we get to the vacation all-star scene. This is where both of them realize that love is real, specifically at the beach. And I know that this is just a game. It's just an all-star game. But in reality, they went on vacation with each other. Come on, this was their honeymoon. They were getting drinks together. They were laughing. Shane told Ilia that he got a stylist, and Ilia has the biggest grin on his face. And Ilia, in that moment, asks if Shane and Rose are a thing. Shane says that they aren't compatible. I love how Ilia went back to look at what the word compatible means. We see them kiss on the rink, on the cheek. Just such a bunch of great moments. We see Ilia in the pool playing with children. I think in this moment, Shane sees an idealized version of what he could have if he dated Ilia. They could have a beautiful family, and Ilia could be a great dad or a great gay uncle, either one. It doesn't really matter. And hockey is fun when they're playing with each other. Ilia doesn't really care about hockey. Shane loves hockey, but when they're playing together, it seems like they don't care about hockey. They care that they're playing with each other. And I don't know if anyone here has seen Avatar: The Last Airbender Season 3, Book Fire, the beach episode where Zuko bares his soul to all of his friends. I feel like this is just probably a common trope in any TV show where you kind of bare your soul and become really vulnerable at the beach. And I feel like that this is another perfect example of the beach setting, letting all of your inhibitions fly away. Plus, it's freaking gorgeous. Like the shot of them on the beach, and then they're like touching each other's hands. So freaking beautiful. Okay. One of the highlights, I mean, every scene in this show or in this episode is a highlight, but one of the highlights is when Shane comes out to Ilia. It's really funny. Shane is like, I think I'm gay completely. And Ilia's like, no fucking shit, what made you think that? And Shane says, well, it's a problem for him, but it's not a problem for Ilia, because Ilia likes girls, but Shane doesn't. And then this is where they both really open up. Shane confesses that he feels something different. If he wanted to be something with Ilia, would Ilia accept that? Ilia doesn't answer the question, but I mean, I don't know if Shane knows, but Ilia knows that the answer is yes. And then Shane digs a little deeper into Ilia's past. Somehow Shane doesn't know that Ilia's mom is dead. I feel like one Google search could really answer that mystery. But Ilia eventually lets Shane hug him, straddle him, and they cry in each other's arms. And I think this is a really great scene to show physical versus emotional love. Yeah, there's crazy sex appeal in this show. And right after the scene, it's implied that they have sex, but there are no sex scenes in this episode. But there is so much emotional love in this episode. And I think that is so beautiful and a really nice break from the first 3 episodes that we got. There are other things I wanted to talk about in this scene that I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember. But just know that they also talk about how they can't be anything. They both know that they can't be anything, which is foreshadowing for the remainder of the episode. But this is where love gets even realer because, again, it's pretty said explicitly that they both love each other here. They just don't use the L word. Not yet, at least. Okay. Ilia is Russian. We know that Ilia is Russian, but do we know that Connor Story, the actor who plays Ilia, is not Russian? Yes, we all know that at this point, but was I convinced that he was Russian the whole time? Absolutely. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. So this is where we find out that Ilya's dad dies. He leaves him, Ilia, and Shane are talking over the phone while Ilya's in Moscow. 2 things I want to highlight here. 1, Svetlana, still the GOAT, is a detective, says that she hopes that Jane knows how lucky he is. Again, we love when a woman supports their non-straight male best friend. Gotta go after Jane after you guys have been texting for like 8 years, and she knows that. And she's never mad at Ilia. She knows how much Ilia has suffered. And Ilia defending defending Svetlana from his brother after his brother called her a whore. Beautiful. I love their friendship. So this is the highlight performance of the entire series, I think, is Ilia's monologue in Russian to Shane. Is it so cliche, and is it so... I don't know another word for cliche. It's so cliche. But is there anything better than getting a monologue in a foreign language and having the other person not understand it but feel it? We get the jump cuts to Shane just closing his eyes, not understanding Ilia's words but feeling them. He hears the word Svetlana, but like I think Shane knows that it's not about Svetlana. Come on, you can hear it in his tone, you can hear it in his voice. And I'm really glad that we get this really long monologue that's not only confessing Ilia's love to Shane, but is also confessing Ilia's disdain for Russia and basically his entire life. Again, Shane has a bunch of supportive friends. He has Hayden, his best friend. He has supportive parents. He has Rose Landry. He has all these outlets to talk to. And he also loves hockey. He loves hockey for the game. But the only thing Ilia has is Svetlana, hockey, which he doesn't even really love, and Shane, because he has nothing left back in Russia. So really, Shane is like his new home, if you think about it. And I wrote on the last slide, that this is sad. This is even sadder, man. Poor Ilya's fighting demons the whole series. And Shane's gay, but Ilya's depressed, so we really gotta work these things out in therapy, I think. But yeah, I can't praise Connor Story's performance in this scene particularly enough. I think it's so compelling, I think it's so moving, and I'm believing everything that he's saying, and it's so heartbreaking. So I really hope that something good happens to them. So, when this happened, this was so funny to me, because they finally reconnected, they're playing against each other, they're gonna fuck each other up, and then literally within the first few minutes of the game starting, Shane gets freaking pummeled. He gets fucking decked. He gets his shit rocked. And for a second I thought he was gonna die. I thought this was turning into a melodrama, and I thought shit was hitting the fan. But no, Shane's all right. We get fan service in the hospital. Again, I don't think it's fan. I can't call it fan service if this was adapted from a book, but it feels like fan service to me for someone who hasn't read the book. And this whole scene is really cute. We get to see how Shane is acting under the influence, and I think this again plays a role in his autism. I think a lot of neurodivergent people maybe I don't want to say have more effect are more affected by drugs, but I feel like typically neurodivergent people will become a lot more outgoing under the influence. So we're seeing a Shane be all like cutesy with Ilia, show that he loves him. And what am I even saying? Okay, this is a really bad thesis defense right now, so please bear with me. This is fan service. We get cute. He's fucking high as shit. But what I do know about this is that in the book, Ilia was going to end things with Shane right here, which I believe. I believe that Ilia doesn't have the emotional capacity right now to handle being in a forbidden love and also having no one in Russia. I think if his forbidden love would fall apart, he would completely fall apart as a person. So he's trying to close this off so he can protect his sanity a little. Which again is contradictory because closing it off would just make him worse. So, and we got a setup. Will you come to my cottage this summer? Let's find out if we'll come to the cottage this summer. Let's find out. Finally, we get the climax of this episode. We're watching the final of a Stanley Cup, I think, probably, I don't know what team Scott Hunter's on, doesn't matter. But let's just break down the scene, the components of the scene. 1. The Wolf Parade soundtrack song. I'll Believe in Anything, I think, is a song that plays. Absolutely incredible choice. Let's praise that band. I listened to the whole album. The album was great. Am I going to keep listening to that album? Probably until I get burnt out. 2. The Scott and Kip lead up to this moment is incredible. I know people were shitting on episode 3 for kind of being a throwaway episode and for dwindling down all of Scott and Kip's relationship into one episode. Hey, when I first watched that episode, I was like, fuck Shane and Ilia. I fuck with Scott and Kip way more because I found their relationship to be way more believable. And I felt like could actually be something. And I felt like they had good chemistry, good connection. Again, this is a very different storyline than Shane and Ilia, so I can't really compare those two. But hey, I just like cute things, okay? I just like when they were shopping for art and like making lunch at Scott Hunter's house. So I thought the lead up was incredible. The cinematography is incredible. When they kiss and then the shot goes around them and then we get the jump cuts from Shane and Ilia and their faces are like that one emoji with the upside down smile. Incredible. Ilia and Shane's reactions are incredible. They're both like, shit, this could be us. I can't believe that we didn't think of this. They thought about this. No, they didn't think about this. They were like, we're going to get fucking killed. But Scott Hunter, he's 40. He's a 100,000-year-old. He has nothing to lose right now. So he just goes for it. Also, Kip's friend, let's give her a shout out. I don't remember her name, but she is woman best friend number 3, another supportive woman in this episode, supporting their queer best friends. It's beautiful to see. So, I've been talking mostly about the storyline, but another point that I made in the beginning about what makes good TV is impact. And I think this right here, this scene in the whole show is what is going to leave, or is what viewers are going to remember. They're going to remember when your representation gets representation. This is what I call representation-ception. The show in itself, gay hockey players falling in love, is representation. But in the show, the characters that are represented are getting representation through Scott and Kip. And I think this is a great example. Will this ever happen in real life? Will we ever see someone winning the Stanley Cup and then kissing their boyfriend? Probably absolutely not. But for Shane and Ilia to see this in this universe, this is giving us an example of what could be. What could the power of representation be? Is empowering other closeted hockey players, other closeted gay people, whoever, see people like them live their life. That's what representation's for. It's for encouraging people to live their life and encouraging straight people to realize that people are hiding their identities, and it's fucking sad, man. It's so sad. In terms of the storyline, though, this saved Ilia and Shane's marriage. We're going to the cottage, man. We're going to the fucking cottage, and we all know what happened at the cottage, okay? We all know what happened there. In conclusion, we started with a lovely coming out scene, a lovely supportive woman telling her boyfriend that he's gay, and that boyfriend coming out as a bottom, and that boyfriend having absolutely gorgeous bottom eyes to prove that fact. Then we get Svetlana reaching GOAT status. She loves hockey. She loves Ilia. She knows what's up, okay? Then Ilia and Shane had a fun vacation, beautiful, beautiful shots of them at the beach in front of the sunset. Then we had another coming out scene again. Shane comes out again to his boyfriend, emotionally this time. And then Ilia basically comes out too because he cries in front of Shane for the first time. I feel like Shane never would have expected Ilia to cry. Basically came out again. Then we get one of the greatest performances ever by Connor Story, him speaking Russian in the tunnel to Shane, absolutely devastating, absolutely beautiful. Him talking about not being able to take care of his dad and feeling bad about it, having no one left, none of his family respects him because they just see him as a bank. Just everything about his character is so tragic, and this is showing that the only person he has left is Shane. And he tells himself that he can't have Shane, but that's all that he has. But hey, Svetlana's still there, so like. And then Shane freaking dies, an emotional roller coaster. This is why this episode's so great. You just never get a break. You never get a freaking break. And then after Shane dies, you get the most incredible fan service of him high. It's like they just want us to keep smiling throughout the whole episode, and they won. They did it. Finally, it ends with Representation-ception, a absolutely gorgeous scene of Scott Hunter and Kip kissing in front of the entire nation, at least the entire hockey nation, and that being inspiration to both Ilia and Shane that they can do it. What's that meme? White man did it in 1 week. They can do it in 10 years. It's gonna be okay. Also, another great thing about this show are all of the women. Shout out women best friend number 1, number 2, and number 3. You guys are also the GOATs. Without you guys, all of our gay little guys will probably be dead. They'd probably be deep in hell without your help. So, some acknowledgements. I will acknowledge that this is the last time I will be talking about this show. Season 1 is over. We're not going to get another season in over a year. Let me just close this chapter of my life. Leave the mass psychosis. Okay, a little jump cut because fire alarm went off. But I will acknowledge that this is the last time I will be talking about this show. I'm leaving the mass psychosis crowd. It was fun, guys, but it's time to take a break. Another acknowledgement, they got fat asses, but bigger hearts. At the end of the day, love will win, whether or not we wanted to. For everyone who doubted Shane and Ilia, they freaking won. And let's just channel that energy and hope into our own lives. You right there, I see you. You're single, you're sad, you're depressed. It's gonna be okay. And I'm not taking any questions because I don't know how to answer them. Thank you, and I hope that I pass.